Okay, since we have a panel discussion now, I will ask Romano to take a seat next to me, and I will also invite the rest of the panel to join me. Yannis Kikidis from Renesas, Giorgos Kalantsis from Industrial Engineering, and because Yannis Raptis is not available, I will ask also from Katerina Georgiadou to come. So first of all, let me thank you for being here today with us. And Romano also gave us a quick and a nice introduction about semiconductors and what they are happening in Greece. So I will ask from the rest of the panelists, starting from Yannis, to say to us a few words how his organization, Renesas, is connected with semiconductors and chips activities.
Okay, putting on my Renesas hat now. In essence, Renesas has a quite large, I would say, setup in Greece, where we actually employ a lot of engineering talent in different, I would say, aspects of IC engineering, from IC design itself all the way up to you know, the embedded firmware that you need for modern devices to operate. And I would say the biggest kind of interest that Renesas sees in all these efforts is the talent that we see missing, or let's say we see that we need in order to be able to accommodate the needs of the industry. Now with the whole AI thing, I mean, it's obvious that we need much more capability on our devices. Renesas being also a company that has a lot of focus on edge type of processing, and AI being also a function that works in the edge, sees also a lot of interest about new technologies, or let's say new architectures that you can use for low power edge type applications. Because you know there is where you will see our analog world being transformed into the digital methods that we use today. So summarizing, talent of course is very important for Renesas, because this is where we see our capability also to grow, and using that capabilities that will be unlocked by the research, by also the different actors of let's say, the capabilities that are bringing, we can actually come together and create new architectures and eventually, potentially, new products that will cover this area.
Okay. Thank you, Yannis. So from a multinational semiconductor company located in Greece, next we'll go to Katerina Georgiadou, representing Democritos, one of the biggest RTOs here in Greece. So, Katerina, inform us about your activities.
Hello from me as well. I'm very happy that you asked us to be here with you. Democritos, for the ones that haven't heard about Democritos, is the largest multidisciplinary research center in Greece. We have more than 1,000 researchers that have expertise in different domains, from health to communication to renewable energy, advanced materials, nuclear physics. We cover the majority of domains. And as we are one of the oldest research centers, we have experience and legacy in microelectronics. Democritos was founded in 1961, and I believe that our research in this domain starts a few years later. So we have a lot of experience in microelectronics, photonics, semiconductors, in silicon prototyping technologies, and also providing training seminars in all these domains. And we keep advancing these technologies, and we are very happy that we participate in HCC. And this is an opportunity for us to support the Greek ecosystem because, as Romano mentioned, we are very much behind as Greece. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Katerina. And after a multinational company, after an RTO, we go to a Greek SME company to tell us what are your activities and how you are related to semiconductor industry, which is very interesting also. George, go ahead.
Thank you for the invitation. My name is Georgios Kaladzis. It's a great honor for me to be invited in this panel discussion. Actually, it's my first invitation in a panel discussion, so that's all new to me. My background is mechanical engineering at the operational research, which I studied in Erasmus University in Rotterdam. I spent a few years, 6 years, in the Brainport area in Eindhoven, which is considered the Silicon Valley of Europe. There I gained a lot of experience. I worked as an industrial engineer at ASML. I returned to Greece 2018, where I established one company. And 2021, I established Industrial Edge Engineering. What we do is we are we are a service provider for design and industrialization services for hardware. Hardware that is needed for the chip manufacturing machines. Currently, we have 35 employees that operate in 3 locations. The headquarters are in Larissa, it's in central Greece. That's where the majority of our employees are. In Chania, there is a branch office, and we also established a local office to support our clients on site in Eindhoven. Some areas of expertise regarding hardware development is optics, vacuum chambers, so that's our expertise. Heat management is needed, and it's all supported by mechanical and electrical engineers together with other STEM professionals. In regards to the CHIPS Act, as a startup, we joined the HETiA this year in January after an invitation of Sotiris, BANTAS, which I also want to thank him, even if he couldn't make it today. So this is our first initiative we did towards the CHIPS Act, participate in HETiA. We supported, of course, the creation of the HCCC. And the other thing we've been doing this year is we are doing a mapping of all high-tech companies, research institutes, in an attempt to create collaborations and synergies.
Okay, thank you. So for those who you don't know, ASML that George mentioned is probably the most important company these days in Europe because they are manufacturing the high-end equipments that we are using for making chips, so it's really, really important. Romana, I will not ask you about the activities because I guess you already covered with your presentation, but I believe that what I want to get from you is, okay, we are in the era of EU Chips Act, there are a lot of changes happening. I guess we were a little bit optimistic about the targets should change a little bit, but nevertheless, there are a lot of opportunities ahead of us. So you are deeply involved as you presented, but tell me also other things that you are thinking of doing and what are the opportunities ahead of you as IMEC?
Yeah. Yeah, the CHIP Act indeed, the first CHIP Act, let's call it like that, was a bit too ambitious. So they said like that 20% of the market share would come from Europe. Yeah, everybody knew, I think, including the politicians, that that would not be feasible. But still, I think the CHIP Act was a very good initiative, and we should not stop now. We should continue. They are now asking us what they need to do for CHIP Act 2. So it's important also to give your vote, I would say, there to the politicians, because what they should not do is they should not now stop with investing in the semiconductor industry in Europe. But of course we need to choose our battles, and I think you cannot replace simply Taiwan if it comes to chip manufacturing. So you can do some critical infrastructure in the Dresden area, maybe in other areas. What you need for more what you call critical infrastructure chips, or for defense chips, then you would need to have the control yourself, and not in
Taiwan.
Not in Taiwan, where you have the risk that there is infiltration from China or other entities, right? So, but again, you need really to focus. And we as IMEC, we always want to be ahead of the pack. So we want to continue innovating on the beyond state-of-the-art devices. This we will keep on doing, not only for CMOS, but also for other technologies. And what my passion is to make it available to the industry, and in particular to startups. And of course to universities as well, because I still have my Europe practice hat. But I think it's important that under the CHIP Act 2, that they keep on providing money, but not only for the industry, but also for the academia. Mm-hmm. That by doing that also Greece can pick up and grow more on the design project ladder that I was showing. Because even though it is a very low number, I know that these small amounts are even an issue for universities. So if there would be money on the shelf from the European Commission, that of course will help also the innovation. Because if you can grow it at university level, eventually the industry will follow.
Okay, thank you. Go back to Yannis. Tell me about if already Renesas have identified opportunities in order to be involved in the EU CHIPS Act, and if there are any plans there.
We actually have had the chance to look at the services that specifically the Hellenic Chips Competence Center has outlined as services to offer, and I would say a number of them are of interest already. So essentially eagerly waiting for this to be aired and get starting on discussing. Of course, that unfortunately will not help the HCC very much, because KPIs are not for large entities, as we know. So that's a bit awkward, but that's the reality. Renesas also would definitely want to see areas where a new kind of technology that comes out of research could be proven, and potentially also supported by Renesas to be proven to that extent, because that could lead to what I described earlier, the capability to bring things together and potentially, maybe land at some point of time into a new generation of products. So overall, we're very much happy to hear Romano and all the CDP plan being now unfolding, as well as the fact that there are now measures to support getting the research out of the research institutes and universities and making a prototype out of them, so proving the usefulness, and then of course looking at the next steps of how to get to value out of that.
Okay, thank you very much. Katerina, Demokritos is one of the founding members of HCCC. So what are the opportunities for Demokritos being an HCCC members?
For us, as I mentioned before, we have a legacy in microelectronics. So EU CHIPS Act and CCC as well is an opportunity to position our labs and our know-how in EU level, but also to provide to the community, to train the new generation of professionals and help the ecosystem. I know that all these words might sound something that a lot of people that are saying, but Demokritos has tradition in supporting ecosystems. We have done that in the digital innovation hubs. We managed 2 digital innovation hubs where we support the ecosystem in digital technologies. We are also participate as a NATO accelerator, and we support the national ecosystem in defense. And now is the time of the second semiconductor ecosystem, and we are eager to start.
Yes, right. Let me point out also further to Katarina's input that in few weeks' time, as Yannis mentioned earlier in the morning, the services that HCCC will provide and also Demokritos will provide such a service will be soon available. So by going to HCCC site, soon you will have access to Demokritos facilities as well. So going back to George, you are a startup, a small Greek company, and now we are in the era of EU Chips Act. What are the opportunities for you as a company?
Indeed, the target of the first Chips Act to have chip manufacturing up to 20% is ambitious. The opportunity we identify, chip manufacturing requires complex machinery. In their turn, they require several parts and tooling to assemble, qualify, service these machines, and have them operational. This is very critical for fabs, foundries, pilot lines, all of them. In this sense, on top, these parts and tools, they also need to be clean room compatible, as contamination is also very critical to operate these machines. One opportunity we see in Greece is that Greece can support low-end manufacturing of these parts. And we can provide the know-how how to keep it clean, qualified. A step further would be to develop test rigs for qualification of more complex parts. I also wanted to refer to the CHIPS joint undertaking. There are research centers like Demokritos in Greece that have proved they can produce, even as a proof of concept, chips. We see that there are some challenges, again, for the operations of this machinery. We can help, one opportunity is that we can help industrializing these processes so researchers can focus on their core business and we can support with operational excellence. Interestingly, there is a call which is called Lab to Fab, and we can also exploit this commonly. The last one is that we can also support to create a bridge between the industry operating in Europe and the research centers in Greece. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Romano, you already mentioned that through your practice, actually, to tell you the truth, when I was done my PhD, I was also fabricated through your practice, to tell you the truth. So now, many years, you are serving the startups and the academia with the access you grant through your practice. And now you shared exciting news that with the design platform, you are going to enable even more. From your presentation, I kept two things. First, you are going to grant access to EDA tools, which, up to my understanding, it's the most expensive or the highest barrier for a startup to start with. And the second one was the access to fabrication. So these are the two challenges, I believe, for any startup. So I guess you are going to give access. Tell us when this will happen and how the procedure will be done.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't show it in detail in my presentation. Well, the timeline I've shown in detail, yeah. So when it will happen, I would say in early next year, the first startups we can onboard. So we have now 9 design enablement teams. So these are the places where a startup can go, get access to the PDKs, can get the design support if they would need design support, and through the PCT, so through the platform coordination team, they can also get access to the EDA tools. But there is a caveat. So I want to explain, we have 2 levels of startups. So we call it level 1 startups. Those are startups who have an accumulated capital of between 0 and 1 million. For those startups, we can provide what we call level 1 licenses. So we have agreed with the top 4 vendors, so that's Cadence, Synopsys, Keysight, and Siemens EDA, that for a price around 10,000 euros, so for some it's 8,000, for another is 10,000, they will get up to 10 full license suites, and they can start their design. They can set up the design environment together with the DET, but then once they get more capital, because that's for a maximum of 2 years, once they get more capital, they automatically come in this level 2. In level 2, we have agreed with the vendors that they can go up to 20 million of accumulated capital. So a startup that has more than 20 million,
it's not a startup anymore.
From funding, from VC money, but that's not in a year. It's really over the years. They are not eligible anymore. But if you are below that number of 20 million, then we can get still, I would say, affordable access for that startup. Plus, you have this big pick, the 220 million. So we can, 70% of that cost we can fund, because 35% will come from the EU money and 35% will come from the country money. So I hope that in Greece, they also will put money in the pocket so that startups, Greek startups can benefit from that, because that would mean that the startup only needs to self-fund 30%.
And the application will be done through your platform?
Well, we worked very closely together with the vendors. So the licenses can go through 2 routes currently. So either we provide them through Europractice if they are a university spin-out, or we give them directly through the vendor.
Oh, okay.
But the arrangement, so the master agreement, that's something we are negotiating with the vendors, and it will be signed between the vendor and CHIPS EU.
And you believe by the first quarter next year you will sign agreements with all 4 guys?
Yeah, for level 1, as I said, we have an agreement, not on paper. So we have 2 master agreements for level 1 on the desk of CHIPS EU.
Okay.
But of course also there the lawyers need to go through it. So now it's actually the lawyers.
We cannot avoid them.
Who are, I know, but there's no way to avoid lawyers, right? So it is what it is. I hope that in Malta, we will have our formal launch event. So that's the 2nd of December. So also there HCCC is invited. So I hope there we can announce a bit more.
Okay. Yeah. But even the fact that you mentioned that for a really early startup, you can access HETiA tools with 10 or 12,000 euros, it's really cheap for those who are aware about this cost.
Yeah, this is something that we had already in place under Europractice, but very few people knew that. That was because Cadence, we had it for Cadence, but Cadence didn't allow us to really promote it and advertise it.
Okay.
So it was only on a case-per-case basis, but now they will allow us also to market it, so to really make publication that we have this in place, and I hope it will attract quite a, and maybe it will also stimulate startups that don't know yet that they are a startup yet,
okay.
So because they are maybe pushed back because of this high cost.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yannis, going back to Renesas, yesterday you presented of your ecosystem, which is actually a lot of companies that are doing demo with you, they are doing common developments. I guess there are also universities, so there is a pattern or a framework, someone to be collaborating with Renesas, right? Can you give us more details about that?
Yes, of course. In our case, we have established a framework. So there's a framework about partnerships that allows different parties to come to Renesas, and it depends what kind of a vendor it is. So for our MCU and MPU products, it's mostly software vendors that run and create firmware on top of these kind of products. So they would actually come, they would choose the right kind of level of MCU or MPU that's good for the application case that they're looking into serving, and then they prove that kind of design with our support by us providing hardware and of course technical support for them to develop the application. The whole reasoning there is very simple, and it's providing an option for a customer to take a tested software and hardware and bring their own application. So kind of a reference design that is very close to the customer likings. And that, of course, for us as a silicon vendor means time to market, because the customer can go to the market much faster. This partner program is called Renesas Ready. There's, of course, hardware or system, a system partner program also, which is essentially about creating systems, not just one chip, but a number of chips coming together with functionality. And then especially for automotive, where we have, I would say, a quite large presence, we have another kind of partnership program called RCAR, and this is specific for automotive because of the different rules and the legislation that actually applies to automotive. So the framework is there. There's entrance points that are defined. There is a process that we define. There is no fees. Essentially, we see the partners as something that they're doing by investing time and working with us, and we also do the same. We invest time and work, and we do that for the benefit of the customer. In the end, of course, it's our customer, so there is some selfish part into that as a silicon vendor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yanni. Katerina, we already mentioned that in a few weeks' time we are going to announce the services to be offered through HCCC. Can you give us more details about what services Democritos specifically will provide? It will be training, access to clean rooms. Give us more details.
We will provide the four types of services. We will provide services that they aim to enhance the ecosystem. These kind of services include events in order to bring in the same room all the necessary stakeholders, and we do not mean only the SMEs and the startups, but we also mean the government, the venture capitals, or the investors, because all of these are needed. The other type of services that we're going to provide is access to large pilots. The third type of service that we're going to provide is more related with access to our labs and in our know-how. We have clean room facilities in Democritos, so through HCCC, an SME or a startup can have access to our clean room facilities. Our researchers, our research teams can help the SMEs with design services, with how to develop photonics technologies, microelectronics, and we have approximately 30 or 40 services, so I don't remember them all by heart, I'm sorry. And the fourth type of service is focused in training services. So all these kind of services where we provide access, or we consult, or we help the SME to develop a technology, we also train these people. So if you are someone that would like to learn something about semiconductors, you can wait 3 days, 4 days, I don't remember when you will say that these services will be released on the platform. And you can apply to us and start your journey in semiconductors. And it's the same if you are an SME and you would like to enhance the training of your employees.
Okay, great. So you have to keep in mind that...
Can I just add one?
Yes.
Because I find it very interesting, but just I would like to also do a reach out to you and also all the other competence centers that we should not work in isolation. So we need to do what is best in the end for the startup and the SME. And yeah, sometimes we need to look a bit across your shoulder to see what is around. So it's very important to connect everything together, and that will be a big challenge, I believe, but that's also why we're all here together in the end. So,
okay, so I have to point out that in a few weeks' time that we are going to announce the entire and the complete service list through HCCC site. SMEs, for instance, they can have free access to Democritos for all these kind of activities that Katerina just mentioned. Okay, going back to George, you mentioned that you were abroad, you came back to Greece, you start your company, doing a very niche thing for Greece, at least. What are the challenges ahead of you, as a company, I mean, in order to grow even more? Is it the talent, or what are in front of you, the barriers?
We are a service provider, so we depend on our people. Talent is crucial to provide quality in our services. And so we see, we all know semiconductor ecosystem in Greece is small. So that's, I think, the first challenge. So young or older professionals, they don't know about semiconductors. The second challenge we face is because we are not based in Athens, which is, so this it's very centralized in Greece. 50% of the population is in Athens. So that's our second challenge when we try to attract talent. That's about the personnel. The other things I would like to mention is about legal and tax affairs in an ever-evolving tax and legal Greek system. It's a major challenge for us to keep up with compliance. So we put a lot of effort in that, and it is also affecting our quality management systems. The last one is about social security contributions. These are high compared to Europe, I believe, and would be nice that more real value, more money is landing in the pockets of our employees.
Okay, good. Okay, so now I will ask for all of you to take off your company or organization hats and just discuss a little bit how you think about things. So, Romano, we are, as Europe, not as an IMEC, as you set ambitious targets. It seems that we are not going to be there. We are changing a little bit the targets. But let us know, from your perspective, what is Europe's status as of today compared to China, Taiwan, States, and what we should do in order to get more important roles or bring more fabrication back to Europe?
Yeah, good question. I think we are very strong in manufacturing. So George mentioned it already. ASML is the real #1 for equipment in the world. But there are also other companies in Europe. So there we are quite strong. But of course, if you're strong, you also need to keep investing in that. So you cannot let it go and then believe you are strong enough, we move now the money to somewhere else. That will not work. To manufacturing, I said already, I don't believe that we as Europe can ever compete with Taiwan. Not in the work ethic, not in how they have built. I mean, TSMC is unique. So I think to replicate that here in Europe will be very difficult. I mean, we have seen that in Arizona, TSMC was struggling big time to get that plant up and running. They flew over engineers from Taiwan just to get it faster going. So I don't think
due to the workforce, the talent.
Yeah, the talent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, in Taiwan, they probably make 60 or 70 hours per week, and in Europe, I don't know many people who do that. So the work ethic is very different. So I would really try to invest in, first of all, where we are strong in already. So that's in equipment and in research infrastructure. But more importantly, it's what I said before. I think we really need to make the connection with all the strong players together and work together, and not as IMEC say, well, we are the best in everything and we don't care about the rest. We should really work together and grow together, because that's the only way I think we can grow in Europe. So we have to put off our own hat and think a bit broader. So that's, I think, what we need to do to become successful.
Romano, I believe that IMEC should make an office at Greece. Okay. Now
yes,
you are.
Yes, but
I was just thinking. Okay.
Yes, but we can of course
Yes.
come over on regular times.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I love to be in Greece.
Yeah,
An
I know
office
that.
will be challenging because we have already quite a few offices.
Yes.
We have one opened in Malaga. We have one now in Baden-Württemberg. We have one in Napoli. So yeah, an opening another one will be a challenge, I believe.
Yeah,
But
sure.
maybe in a few years from now, who knows?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
George, back to you. You mentioned that maybe the biggest challenge is talent. Give us an idea, not as a company, but as a startup or an SME being in Greece, of how we are going to attract more engineers to semiconductors, because this is the point of today's panel.
I think we should do two things. It's a very nice thing that there is now a tax incentive for for Greek expats that they have, when they repatriate, they have some tax benefits.
Yes.
So this is very important, that we should use this as much as possible to attract them. Then you need to spread the knowledge within the existing professionals, engineers, or whoever that is. So what we do internally in industrial edge engineering, in order to accommodate this, we have a competence structure. So there are certain competencies about way of working, because you need to know how to work in this context, and also technical competencies. So there are subject matter experts. They are available, they provide training to our employees, and they increase their competence level. So these are the two things we're doing.
Okay, thank you. Katerina, Romano mentioned it. I believe that I have mentioned it also yesterday, that it's really important to connect the dots or connect all the stakeholders. And I would like to ask from you that I believe that the most important connection is the one between academia and industry. I believe that here in Greece things were improved the last, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, but we have to do more. So give us ideas of how we can accomplish that, besides having conferences like this, of course.
Which is great, I have to say.
Yes.
I think that we need to think that when we are talking about academia and research centers, we are actually talking about groundbreaking technologies that are very far away from the market. We are talking about excellence. This is the goal of the academia, of the research centers. And in the industry, we are talking about products, about things that are already in the market. So these two stakeholders, they have completely different goals.
Indeed.
Yeah. In order to put them in the same table, you need to develop strategic initiatives that they have shared goals. And in Demokritos, we really believe in this mentality, and we have built several initiatives that is based on this mentality. One example is the Industrial Fellowship Program that we built it from scratch in Demokritos. It was based in industry's needs, and the industries paid Demokritos in order to collaborate with specific research teams and labs in Demokritos in order to help them in their production chain and how to enhance their products. Another example is the Lefhipos. It's a tech park that we have in Demokritos. It's in our campus. We have right now 40 startups. Unfortunately, we cannot accommodate anymore. We do not have any other space. I'm sorry. And even though it's a tech park, Demokritos has decided 25 years ago that this tech park will not be a separate legal entity. It's part of the academia, and this initiative is there to have shared goals and to make this bridge between industry and research academia. These are two just small examples, but I think it's us that make these initiatives. We need to do things.
Yes, for sure. Okay, thank you very much. And going to Yanis for the last question for this really interesting panel. Besides Renaissance, you are having also the hat of HETiA and the HCCC. So from that perspective, tell us what is the position of Greece within Europe in the semiconductor industry, and what we can do in order to increase our role. I don't know, making a factory, a fab here in Greece, is it realistic, or we are not that mature yet?
I think Greece has, in certain areas, core capabilities and actually know-how that is used in products all around the world. It just doesn't appear as such because in many cases these are designs that essentially land into the hands of the product owners themselves, given that it's IP that it's provided. So that part, I say, also looking at what we presented earlier today about the HCCC and the different competencies that we have there. I think that part, which is the strong part, we now need to actually connect and see how we get it closer to the needs of Europe and Greece in that extent. There are certain pillars now that actually allow us to connect the dots in a way that it's beneficial for both the entities and let's say, the continent. For example, we're talking about defense. Defense in many cases actually means hardware, specialized hardware. And specialized hardware doesn't mean the volume that TSMC would produce. You don't need that. You actually need specialized use cases that are specific for that defense. So there's an area where I think if we can get the parties together, we can indeed create a difference. So that's one thing that we can certainly entertain. The other things, I said it many times, it's the talent. You know, semiconductors is a global industry, but the deficit is also global. So Europe has a big deficit. US has a very big deficit. I would say the only kind of geography I think does not necessarily have a big deficit is China, which is a little bit interesting and alarming in a sense. So we need to, you know, pick up. We need to make it obvious to our talent pool, to the people, that there is a big opportunity for them in an industry that is growing. It's not stale, it's growing, and there is a lot of demand in the future because all of our digital world essentially is in the hands of these chips that they'll have to support. So overall, I see the glass half full. There is a lot of things we need still to do. I'm happy that we are here now with HETiA and the capability of bringing together all the different actors in Greece, RTOs in academia, working together towards a plan, convincing the government also to do the next strategic things like putting a bit of more money into the pot is, I would say, a good challenge. In essence, we still, need to do certain things, but I'm very happy that we've started.
Okay, great. So let's thank all the panelists for their contribution. If there is any question from the audience, we can take one, because we are a little bit late, yes?
I would like to ask Dr. Hoffman a little bit of technical question. In academia, we often working on materials and devices, we often find the the need to use some advanced processing facilities that exist in big technology development laboratories like IMEC or others. But then we have two barriers. One barrier is the wafer mismatch because we are working on small substrates and you're working 8-inch or 12-inch. And on the other hand, we have also the fact that new materials are not really compatible with advanced semiconductor silicon processing due to cross-contamination issues and many other issues. So I was wondering how we can handle this problem. And you mentioned that probably in CHIPS 2.0, they think of putting some money to academia. Would it be that this money go to upgrade the facilities in academia in order to match the facilities of bigger centers so that to have a better collaboration between those two entities?
I can answer to that question as very unlikely that they will put money for that because it's a very expensive operation, especially if you need to do that in multiple countries, because now still many universities or research centers have their own clean room. If you need to upgrade all of those to 8 or 12-inch, yeah, that will be impossible. It's unpayable. So that will not happen. So the money that I mentioned that is foreseen for increasing the number of chip designs and fabrication in all over Europe, so that the Commission will pay actually for the tape out, for the cost that needs to be paid to the foundry. And then the mismatch, that's a very hard part. It's very hard to solve. But of course, what we can do is we can work together and maybe deposit materials on our substrates and then send it to you, and that you then do analysis or further process, or because you can maybe make it smaller. You cannot from something smaller make something bigger. That's difficult. But you can of course from a big wafer you can make a smaller one. So that's one thing we can do. And exotic materials we will have allowed in our Spain fab. So as I said, we are opening an office in Malaga. That will not only be an office, that will also be a clean room, so the manufacturing site. And that site will be a bit more beyond CMOS, so it will allow materials that are typically not CMOS compatible, also all kind of back-end processes. So there we could see at least to solve that issue.
Okay, thank you.